back. Welcome back to another edition of the live stream. So, I'm glad to have you all around, and of course, indeed, they'll be discussing briefly about what's going on in the crypto market, what's happening to Bitcoin, what's been happening overall, the volatility ups and down, what's actually happening, and what has been the problem. Bitcoin has been stuck below 60K for the past 2 weeks now. So I'm going to try my best as possible to make sure that this video you get to understand it real quick, why I don't take too much of your time. So briefly, this is the Bitcoin overall. On the macro view is the Bitcoin live chart I'm sharing from here on my screen. So I'd love to explain this real quick. So normally on every of my updates, I always get to say that do make sure you hold whatever you're holding, that we've not yet seen any, we've not yet reached a macro top yet. We've not reached a macro top or not. And in that case, we've not seen any very bad correction on the market. So we've not yet triggered any bear market yet. So this is the chart that most times when I look at it, I just say, okay, overall we're still healthy and there's nothing really to worry about in the overall market. Okay, so this is the Bitcoin on the 2-day time frame. So as you can see here, I did kept this line for the past and this line has been here for the past 2 weeks now. Yes, 2 weeks I drew this line, and then checking on what I have here, you can see that I'll have to zoom this a little bit. This is what we have right now on the chart. This is what Bitcoin looks right now. I know it's kind of like looking messy, but then this is what you have right now. So until, like we said, I know there's kind of like a whole noise in the market. There's this noise in the market. People are kind of like panicking. Is this the bear market? Is this the bear market? Is this the end? Are we going to see new all-time high from here? Where is Bitcoin actually going to? The fall from 60K, was that actually the end? Was that actually the top? Are we going to the rabbit hole? Are we going to the bottom hole? Is this the Bitcoin apocalypse? Is this the end? Overall, that's what's actually going on in the market. Panic from our angle. So briefly, while looking at this, I want to show you something. While till tomorrow, I'm still going to tell you that until this gets invalidated, Bitcoin overall is still bullish, and there's actually nothing you need to worry about. And remember, I always say that the trend is your friend until the end of the trend. So kind of like looking here right now, I have this line already drawn. I have this line already drawn. Like I said, starting from the first point of contact, this is Bitcoin on the 2-day chart actually. So for you to get to understand the market and get the bigger picture, you need to like start changing the time frame. All right. If you're kind of like analyzing, if you forget what the market is going to do in a shorter period of time, that's when you start talking about making it an hourly, 4 hour, 3 hour, all right, or 30 minutes. That if you want to know what the market is about to do or what the market is going to do, it's more likely to do in the coming hours, in the coming 2 or 3 days. That's when you start switching to the low time frame. So until that, all right. But if you want to get to see the overall what the market is telling on the macro view, you start making use of the daily, start making the 2 weeks. That actually gets to give you a bigger picture where the market is heading to. So right now, still on the 2-day time frame or the 2-day chart, this is what Bitcoin looks like. So over time, we first initiated the first support coming around on this 14th of December 2020. That was our first point of contact on the chart. All right. Then that was the first support we created. Then we now have to create another tail. We first picked the first stop we now created on that first, I would say, created the first resistance ever since we started this run was that that was on the 7th of January 2021, which was when Bitcoin went to 40K. So that was our first stop, first bottom coming on last year, top coming out early this year. So for you to draw a perfect line, for you to get to say, okay, you need 2 points of contact, all right? You need 2 points of contact. I took 2 points of contact on the upside and on the downside. That's where you get to like say, okay, with these 2 points of contact, I can actually get to draw something that is gonna overall interpret very well on chart. That's overall gonna tell you, okay, we've tested this place 2 times. Overall, it's been proven to be a nice resistance, and we've tested this particular support level 2 times. And overall, is going to serve as a very strong support level. So checking on that, overall, we have the first one coming on the 16th of December 2020. We have the second one coming, the B coming on the 7th of January 2021. Then we have another one coming on the February, and then we have this. This is the A. This is the B. So this is the point we are looking at right now. So from this point, that validates now our trend line. That validates, okay, our trend line, what's our age on the overall market. So so looking at this, we can see that the last time Bitcoin, a couple of times Bitcoin tried to like we tested, okay, this was the second high that we created overall in the chart. So a couple of times Bitcoin, like automatically after this correction we had to this level, we are meant to test this line around the same time. That was why when Bitcoin fell, people were looking at this to be, I'll have to mark this here. People were looking at this to be some sort of a support. Okay, look, even on the today, good. That was actually support people were looking at to get to push on Trevor to get a push to a new all-time high, which of course we tried very well to push through, but then there weren't enough volume supporting the movement. As you can see, this on the 22nd of February, that was a very huge sell volume. All right. And ever since then, we've been rallying on low volume. We have not yet seen any buy volume to beat the overall, the last sell volume we had ever in the market. The first time we peaked at 6,000 approximately. So ever since then, we've been finding it difficult to test the next points of resistance. All right. Then, while we still find it difficult to test the next point of resistance, all right, we still get to come down. But then all this while we've not yet really tested the point, our point of contact, which was why I see this place. If you can see this place, I see insufficient trend retest. Like over time, while we've been trying to test, while we've been trying to break above new all-time high, which of course have been invalidated, we've still not yet tested the overall macro support level. So that is why that's what happened in the crypto market. Whenever a price gets to test a resistance a couple of times, but never get to break through. And whenever a price is rallying on a volume, like it's rallying with no volume backing it up, it means that currently at that moment, there's no strength driving that market, and there's no much buy like coming into the market to push you to go a little higher. All right. So that's what happened there. So, and because of that, Bitcoin like had to crash and finally get to test the line. So that's the line overall. We finally had that massive crash about that was on the 20 on the good starting from the 19th of April, actually, when we started that for. So as you can see on the macro view, I'm gonna still say that Bitcoin is still bullish and there's still nothing to be scared of, right? So this is the this thing here. This is the thing you need to go. This is the this thing you need to go home with today, because while Bitcoin is still bullish, all right, it still tells that the overall market is still going to maintain the bull trend until Bitcoin gets this blow off top. So there's literally no need to panic or to have this fear that you just die or everything starts coming down straight. And there's something you just need to understand: the market doesn't go straight up. All right, it doesn't go straight up. It just comes down. Like it goes up, like it doesn't go straight up. And at some point, there's always this point you get to like expect huge volatility in the market. So that's what's going on right now. Finally, couple of times we tried testing, we tried breaking through. It didn't really play out well. We just finally had to test tap liquidity. That's why I call it liquidity tap. All right, but it really happened. It really happened very dirty. There was this panic in the market, but then overall now we heard it. Let me zoom. I have to zoom it a little bit. Then now we have it here. You can see that on the 2 day we still kind of like held it. Finally we did this crash. Of course, breaking down here, that was when breaking down 50,000 was very critical. Breaking down 50,000, technically we were meant to come to 30,000, 30,000, 30,000, and 19,000 ultimately, which of course technically that was those were to be the target if we were actually in a bear market, or if that 60K that we picked out, if that with 64,000 approximately that we get to pick out that time, if that was actually the top in the market, all right, that's crash and the break of this 2 day trend line I'm showing right now on my screen would have been the start of bear market. But then there was the market is still kind of like, we're still kind of like in the early stage of the market, right? We barely did 1x from the new, we barely did 200% from the previous all-time high 20K. So if you check the last time Bitcoin break all-time high, if you check history, it's shown okay, Bitcoin broke about 1,000. That was 2017. So it now went to 20K. All right, like there's always this huge surge in price whenever we break a new all-time high in the market. All right, so if you should check, we barely broke the new all-time high last year, so we kind of like still early in the game to initiate any sort of a bear market. All right, so Bitcoin overall on the macro view is still healthy. This is a 2 day right now. So as you can see, for the part on the 25th of April, actually, that was when we had a very nice engulfing. We call this an engulfing candle. All right, we had a very strong buy coming in, and we engulfed the last trade. All right, then it happened that we climbed above this line, and as you can see, a couple of times we maintained this line. Now we tested it actually on the 27th of April, but still we weren't able to break through. We still tested it okay on the 29th of April. We weren't still able to break below it. So technically that is gonna hold. All right. As long as it holds, there's no need to be bearish on the overall market. So that's it. That's it on the 2 day. And checking on that technical targets. All right. Now we are having overall. This is actually I'll have to delete this line here, so you get to okay. Good. Technically, we are actually being held by a resistance coming in at this level. Okay, that's good. That's the resistance. That's the resistance holding us right now. When we break down, previous support gets to be a resistance. Like as you can see here, a couple of times when we broke off this place, it's maintained as a support over time. We pushed through, we tried pushing through, but then we weren't able to break to down. We had to come down. So it's kind of like 7 as a resistance right now, currently on the chart. So that's why a couple of times you've tested 57K and it's kind of like rejecting us. Even 57K is kind of like a support, like is a macro support. It's a macro resistance right now on the weekly time frame. I'll show you that briefly. So that's what's going on in the overall Bitcoin market right now. So until Bitcoin gets to above 57K approximately, I'll say that okay, this is kind of like we'll still see some sort of an accumulation over time. So that's it on the 2 days. So is there any any sort of a possible correction from here? What are we going to? Are we just going straight up from here, or are we going to see any sort of a correction before any continuation to the upside? So that's it on the 2 day. I would love to change good. Okay, then I'll have to okay good. So like I was saying, while we're still kind of like maintaining this, so technically our next target, if we should follow this part, we are talking about first target, we're talking about 63,000, of course. Then we now start talking about going higher from here. Well, so here's the deal here. Until this line gets broken. So I won't call this a bear market yet until this line get broken. All right. So technically we're still healthy. So that's what's going on right now. So we're really looking tomorrow that this thing that's kind of like showing us that all right, fine, we are on a bull trend. So this is making use of trend lines, and this is making use of the trend line on the macro view. Okay, then I'll have to switch to something really quick. Let's see, kind of like, okay, now let's good. Now I have a cleaner chart here. So like you can see, this is kind of like good. Now I have a cleaner chart here. So good. I'll have to do this on the 4 hour. So you get to see what's happening right now. Okay. So you have 4 hour here. You can actually get to push something like this, right? Actually get to see he had some sort of should can see you have some sort of what is in here. So we can say we kind of like forming some sort of an even shoulder with the neckline. I would say so. Now here is something dicey here. This here is something kind of like dicey, which of course, when it gets to this particular point, I'll start making use of I'll have to switch to line chart. So good. This gives you the clearer picture, because most times whenever you do your analysis on the candles, whenever you're drawing patterns on the candles, all right, you most times tend to be confused whether am I going to have to connect weeks to weeks or body to body, all right. And most times when you check on what other analysts are doing, they kind of like most people are kind of like confused. You see people drawing their trend lines, making use of connecting only wicks. You see some connecting only candle closes, candle bodies, all right. But then for you to really get, that's why most times when people ask me, Nolan, do you get to make use of indicators? What's your take on the RSI? What's your take on the Bollinger Bands? What's your take on MACD? What's your take on indicators overall? I get to tell them that you don't get to understand indicators, because they are kind of like most times deceptive. You don't get to make use of indicators if you don't really know how chart gets to work. Like if you don't know how to read candles real well, you won't do better making use of indicators, right? So right now, I'm kind of like switching. I just switch to the line chart to really get to know where the market actually closed and where we actually need to break above to invalidate this kind of pattern and to have this more move to the upside. All right. So right now, I'm gonna have to make. I think okay. I'm gonna have to leave this here. Good. I'm gonna have to leave. I'm gonna have to leave this year. Okay. So I'm gonna have to leave this year with right shoulder coming in at this particular point. So you can actually get to say, okay, technically our target is always measured. When you get to form this type of pattern, you can actually get to put this measured target. So you can actually get to say, okay, and actually do something like this. All right, good. Next target talking about 63,000 approximately. All right, but then what is more likely going to happen here is that we'll have something like this. All right, we'll have something like this. So the scenario we'll get to test here before going back up. So that's our okay. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll have to delete. Good. Look at what I'm talking about here. Okay, right now we broke already off the neckline. All right, so technically coming down here and bouncing back off won't be a bad one. So whenever you see Bitcoin coming around 53,000, all right, which of course I think over the weekend we'll get to weekend sideways price actions, of course, would actually get to bring us lower overall. But then whenever you get to see 55,000 or some point, you just know that okay, we're kind of like protesting the neckline we actually broke out from. All right, we technically breaking off the neckline. Technically, our target should be should be 63,000 approximately. All right. So that's Bitcoin on the short time frame right now. So what's new again? So let's check on so while Bitcoin is still healthy, what's the fate of the overall market? They're literally going to do well. They're literally going to do well. All right. So that's it on the 4 hours. So anything really bad on the 4 hour. So that's why most times I'll have to clear all this. Okay. I'll have to clear all this. Good. We can as well get to push something like this. All right. So you get to push something like this. I'll have to add something real quick so you get to know that. So I'll have to add something real quick, and then I'll have to add something real quick. Good. I'll have to already I've covered videos on this and how you can really get to I'll have to add something real quick. Good. This now we have our RSI here. So now we have our RSI here. So now we have our relative strength index here, kind of like, okay, now we have it here. So what is it kind of like showing? Overall, we're kind of like, we tested our lows, we came down here. You can actually get called this already. There's this, okay, that's good. Now we have something like this, all right? This is a bull div. How do you get to know, how do you get to, all right? Then on the chart, I'm sorry, I'll have to, on the chart, I'm sorry, okay. And then, okay, I'll have to do something like this so you get to see something clearer. Good. Now, this is something that most times when you get to see in the chart, you just know that, all right, at this particular moment, the sales trend is it's kind of like reducing, okay? A bull div is actually a pattern on the RSI that gets to show you that, okay, right now, the market is falling down. But remember, I told you, okay, those videos will soon be uploaded. Like I've already done videos on that, which of course will be updated on our course, actually, on our Trader Make Money course. So here is the thing here. Whenever you see a price falling down, the RSI is going up. It's kind of like telling you that right now, what you're seeing right now is people are selling, but there's more buy strength coming in the market. All right, that's why you see most times when price goes down, you see the RSI going up, kind of like telling you that the momentum currently on the market that particular time is shifting to the upside. Okay, that's why when you see such pattern, you get to see a local bottom. All right, because you don't jump. There's this mistake that everybody gets to make in the market. There's this mistake that there's always this misconception. All right, people get to see a bull div and then jump into the market immediately, thinking that, all right, this is a bullish divergence. Automatically, the market is meant to bounce from here. Okay, but then there's the thing. Here's the thing with a bull div. A bull div can be done now. Like a bull div can be done like over, can be done a couple of times. Okay, we can have bullish divergence 4 times. You can have it 5 times. You can have it 10 times, 3 times, 2. All right, but then and the market will still keep going down while we're still having these divergences. But yeah, that's it. So you don't get to jump into a market because you see a bull div. All right, you don't jump into a market because you see a bull div. You always need to wait for a candle, for your confirmation, which always comes with a hammer, an engulfing candle overall, which comes with a bullish engulfing candle. Okay, which comes with a bullish engulfing candle or a hammer, all right, which is still kind of like a bullish reversal candlestick pattern. So that's what actually bounced us off the lows, which was why when I was looking at that particular setup, I'll have to switch this to the candle so you get to see what I'm talking about. Good. Now, here's the thing here. Bitcoin, when we are okay. Now I want to actually show you something. You see, while I was on the line chart, it actually gave me perfect place to get my trend line right. Okay, but then when you're seeing people actually look at what they're gonna do. All right, couple of people, lots of analysts going to take this week. They're going to take this. They're going to do it like this. They're going to do it like this. But then when you look at this on a line chart, let me show you something. It's totally off. All right. This, like when you put it on, it's kind of like totally off. Like you didn't really get it well. Well, why that as well might make sense, but I think this is actually the way to go if you really want to like draw something really, really nice. That's why most times RSI kind of like tells you. That's why most times RSI is kind of like, I would say that RSI is one of the best tool in the market. like it's the best, like it's the best. I will go ahead telling you that RSI is kind of like the best in the market. It tells you, it helps you filter the noise. All right, it helps you filter the noise that accumulates over time on those candlesticks, that the noise that accumulates over time in the market. RSI is a tool, not only is a tool, not just for you to only get to analyze or to evaluate the overbought and oversold conditions in the market. RSI is overall a momentum indicator, is a tool that helps you, one, filter the noise and filter the noise in the market. All right, the noise that comes from lots of candlesticks accumulated on the chart. One, it helps you filter that as well. Now, it also helps you get to know the market strength. It's a relative strength index. It's a momentum indicator. It gets to help you like get to know the strength. All right, analyze, check on the strength in the market. So, and it also with RSI, you can as well get to see, like get to understand the chart better, right? It filters the whole noise in the market, because normally on the chart you get to see wicks up and down, you get to see blow-ups up and down, you get to see bullish, bearish, all sort of candlesticks that when you look at them, just gonna be like, damn, what is happening? I'm not understanding what's going on right now. There are a bunch of things I'm looking at right now that doesn't literally make sense. Where the fuck we going to? So most times when you like, whenever you get to be in that particular mood, you're gonna be like, what's going on right now? I'm not kind of like understanding anything. I'm seeing the red, I'm seeing green, I'm seeing a lot of shit, loads of candles. What's going on? At that particular point, when you're confused, you switch to your RSI. It gets to filter out those noise. RSI is meant to be used as a trend filter. Put it anywhere. It's meant to be used as a trend filter. All right. It helps you draw your lines better, and it helps you like I'll show you in a moment. All right. So that's it for the RSI. So like I was saying, if you get to, so as okay, that's drawing this on the candle, on the chart, on the candle chart as well, get to put us on this error. Okay, but then you have something like this. This makes more sense, because this are where the candle closed. Okay, this was where the candles closed. So drawing candlesticks should be connected to the point where the candles close. All right, where the candles close and extended to the wicks, so that half of the wicks can be your entry on any financial assets. All right, half the wick can always be your entry. Stop loss can always be the bottom of the wick whenever it gets taken by the other wick, by the other candles. So that's how it is meant to be traded on every market. So for you to really get your edge right, get to market using the lines, get to filter using the RSI. So that's one thing. Okay, already this is a bull div. We all know this is a bull div, but then how am I actually going to know that, okay, this bull div was confirmed and the trend was actually ready to shoot to the upside? So that's when you now start making use of I'm gonna have to shoot it can. So you see, when we did this, all right, we had this. Let me show you something real quick. Okay, good. Like I said, you don't jump into the market because you see a bull div, and you see a bull div without, like, if you see a bull div without it, don't jump into a market. Don't jump into the market because you see a bull div. All right, always wait for a confirmation. So yeah, it's actually where you had the bull div. All right, most times you can actually get to good. Most times, let me show you also something. One confidence, something that the market does. All right, look at this particular point. Okay, I'll have to look at this point. Okay, this is the first. Okay, fine. Oh, good. Surely that's why I said you need candle closes to confirm your entries on the market overall. Now you can see that at this particular point, I'll have to mark this on the chart. Good. At this particular point, we kind of like good. At this particular point, all right. Those are giving me, let me see, something like those are giving me something like this. I'll have to mark this. I'll have to put it here. Good. I'll have to put it here because now, if you can see, some people might go on calling this some sort of a body, like shortly before that crash. Might go on saying, okay, they're kind of like so we might go on calling this some sort of bullish, but then this is not a bull div. Like this it's never very bull div. Okay, so And the market, some people, there's always this misconception, there's always this argument on this. So some people might as well have entered this market at this particular point thinking that this was a bull dip. All right, most times they just get to say okay, or even if it's not a bull dip, it's kind of like a double bottom on the RSI. But then did we have any sort of a confirmation after we had that fall? No, it never happened. All right, which of course, because it never happened, all right, we had a follow-up candle that actually did crash the market, which was when we now had this huge volatility to the downside. Okay, so that's it about bull dip, which of course you can actually get to play around this, do your thing, change the time frames, and can actually get spotted on the 2 hour, on the 3 hour. Like literally before we bounce, you normally get to see it's kind of like the custom, it's kind of like the tradition. On a point in the market, so you get to see this strong sell. We don't bounce off immediately. All right, good. Even on the 3 hour time frame, we actually had something like that. Price was coming down at some point, but the RSI was just going up. Kind of like showing this particular point, we had sales, but there were lots of buys coming in. So that's it for the RSI, that's it for the bull dip, and that is it for the overall market right now, being bounced up real hard by the bull dip during the previous fall. Okay, so that's it for the video. Like I said, RSI is actually a very nice tool for filtering trends and for overall getting to mark your edge really well on the market. Now let me show you something like you need to also get to. All right, okay, now we had this okay, we had something like this. Okay, but then let me show you something. I'd love to show you something really quick. Now that was actually, we had some, you will say, okay, now let me show you something. I'll have to show you something really quick here. The RSI, let me show you good. This is a perfect example. When I talk about the RSI being the tool, being a very nice tool for trend filtering, it helps you filter the noise in the market. When I say that, this is the perfect example of what I mean. Okay, so over here we actually had this. We actually did broke down from the uptrend ever since we. Now on the chart, it looked like okay, we are maintaining it. That was on the 14th of April. It was like okay, looking at this on the chart, you'll be like okay, we are actually maintaining this line. We actually maintain this line, but then the RSI broke down since how many days ago? Broke down. The RSI broke on the downtrend on the 14th of April. The RSI broke to the downside on the 14th of April. But on the chart, you are seeing us maintain this particular line, which technically maintaining this line still suggests a further move to the upside. Okay, but then the RSI is already showing you that the market is weak. It's already gone down before it's interpreted on the chart. So that was why when we crashed violently, because the market was trying to hold a particular support that normally the RSI is already showing us that support is already being broken, but we weren't able to see it. You weren't able to see it because we were kind of like getting yourself complicated with with lots of tools, or perhaps with lots of ways you do analyze the chart. Okay, so that was actually what happened. So then we broke down actually, and it was violent. Okay, so that's it for. So where is actually still brings us to the point. Now we've had our fall, we've had our bullish consolidations, we've had our bullish divergences, and now where's the market heading to? Like I said, technically, if you should check the previous run, you always get to know that whenever we have a very severe whenever we have this bull dip, it actually leads to a bigger trend. It actually leads. I'll have to clear everything on the chart right now. Good. Whenever we have this bull dip, like bull dip is kind of like the dawn of a new era. It's kind of like the dawn of a new bull era. Okay. Whenever you get to see it on the chart, you just like okay. I'll have to let's get to see something. I'll have to zoom in this chart. So technically, the trend is still to the upside. It's still your friend until the end of the trend. Okay, there's nothing really bad in the market. This is it. Like it has always been the start of it's always been the dawn of a new beginning. Whenever we have this, okay, here is it here. Okay, here is it here. You can say that we had something like this. Yeah, we had something like this, but then here we are having something like this. Okay, okay, good. Price, okay, as you can see, we had this sell price coming down, but then the RSI constantly went up. It has always been the start of a new beginning. All right, bullish divergences, majorly on the 4 hour time frame. Okay, so that's it for the RSI, and that's it for the line chart, and that's it overall for where Bitcoin is heading to. Okay, now that's it for Bitcoin. Then I'll have to switch over to we've discussed in the macro view. So how do we really look on the Bitcoin weekly chart? Because that's also one time frame that, okay, how does the weekly look like? Does it really look like a continuation, or we're going to see more rest from here already? Okay, already on the weekly we are seeing so we are seeing this, we'll call this, I'll call this a bullish engulfing really, but then the real pump on the markets we are about to see, like we've not yet seen the biggest gain in the overall crypto market. So the weekly, I can also get to call this from here, from this point to this point. All right, we are actually high. I think this is kind of like, now we have a bull dip and you have a hidden bull dip. I'm sharing premium information on a free stream. Well, you just get to enjoy it. It's not going to last for a while. So we can actually get to, we also have, while you have obvious bullish divergences, we also have hidden bullish divergences. So on a weekly time frame, you can actually get to call this a hidden bull dip that's already been confirmed. So what the hell are you thinking that Bitcoin is going to come down? It's going to come down real hard. From here, we're going to new all-time high. It's obvious. There's nothing to doubt about it. There's nothing really that looks so shady about it. Okay. So now we've already seen our obvious bullish divergences on the smaller time frames, on the 4 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. We've already seen our bull dip, right? But then we've already seen our bull dip. Okay. On the weekly, we are kind of like seeing a hidden. Today, the weekly is already showing us a hidden bull dip. What's the hidden bull dip? Hidden bull dip is kind of like the market is kind of like the RSI is going down. Remember, on the normal obvious bull dip, the RSI always goes up. It goes up while the market comes down. Okay, while the market sees it sell, the RSI maintains an uptrend. That's what called obvious bull dip. That's the one that whenever people look at it, they'll say, okay, this is a bull dip, but still they always get to make that mistake of getting to have this confirmation on the chart. Okay, that's it for the obvious. But then for the hidden, we have this part. We have this. It's kind of like the inverse. We have this point in the chart where we always get to see the price stay on the upside, but the RSI is kind of like coming down. That's when you say, okay, is the hidden bull dip. Now, when you look at this chart now, you're gonna see that first time we actually gonna connect, we're actually gonna make use of this low here. We're actually gonna make use of we're actually gonna make something of I'm gonna make use of something like this. Okay, I'm gonna make something like this. Good. These are the points. Okay. Okay. You can actually make it like this. Good. At this point, the RSI was still around 60. Okay, but the price was still around that was 44,000. All right, that was 44,000. But then the price retest came down to 49.50 approximately. This was where we had the close 50. Okay, we had the close on 48,000. Remember, 48,000, 44,000. This was low, this was high. Higher, lower, higher lows on the price, but lower lows on the RSI. But then what's new? We are about to have this confirmation now. We are on if the weekly should get to maintain this level, that's where I'll say, okay, on the weekly, we've confirmed a hidden bull dip, which is overall is kind of like, it's still like, this is one of the most bullish thing in the market right now, that when you look at it, you're just gonna be like, man, we're not seeing anything. The bulls, the bears, they're all literally going to the nursing home. They're literally going to the nursing home, because there's something like, this is one of the most important things, like right now, that when I look at them, I'm just gonna be like, man, we generally good. We generally good. Just not to be scared of. We generally good. All right. This is a hidden bull dip. And now the CME. The CME will be closing about how many hours from now? The CME. I'm going to show you the CME briefly. The CME future chart. Okay. The CME will be confirming this hidden bull dip in about. It's going to close in about 3 hours from now, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. Cool. So while we are still on the part of maintaining of confirming bull dip on the weekly, all right, on Sunday close. Of course, the monthly is going to close this week. The monthly is going to close on Sunday. So while we kind of like still on the verge of confirming this on the normal stock, on the normal spot market, the CME is kind of like going to confirm his own today, which of course I'm going to show you the CME. Good. This is the Bitcoin CME future chart. Good. This is the Bitcoin. Okay. Good. As you can see, already now. Good. This is also okay. I drew this on the good. Normally, okay. This kinds of like interpret what I've been saying all this while. Okay. Now the CME, we actually had similar stuff here. Okay. We actually had something like this. So the CME still kind of like healthy. Okay. Now we had something like this. Now, which of course we're going to confirm it this evening in about how many hours from now? This is what time? Okay, this is okay, good. In about 4 hours from now, we're going to confirm this close on the CME chart. And then what's the most likely scenario that's going to play out here if we should confirm it? That means on the Monday, whenever the market opens, we're going to have to retest this particular line before heading strongly up. And then this is kind of like looking like we're going to say that okay, we on the C, we already get to say like okay, we kind of like forming some sort of something like this, okay, all right, with the resistance of this particular. So it's kind of like still telling us that we are overall still healthy. With this being with this about to be confirmed on the CME future charts, on the CME Bitcoin CME future charts, we are in about 4 hours from now, which of course we'll confirm our own on the weekly close. So we're still kind of like very, very healthy. Okay, it's still kind of like showing us that overall the market is bullish. There's nothing to be scared of. So that's it for this Bitcoin CME future chart. That's kind of like confirming already. That's about to confirm the bull div we already had. Okay, but then there's also something very important I would love to talk about. That most times people don't always get to. This is where I'll put our middle. That's also one of the indicators that people don't actually. That's the Bollinger Band. Good. That's something that most times, whenever you look at it, I'm just going to be like, okay, this is something that as well, most times when you look at it, you're just going to be like, okay, the Bollinger Bands are actually, this is actually another very nice tool that most time when you look at it, people don't actually get to value it, all right? This is actually something that's, man, this line here is a 20 simple moving average, all right? It has always been the point of contact. It has always been our point of contact. In the case we have a very huge volatility in the market, in the bull market, it always gets to support us. So I'll get to say that, okay, let's keep it simple. Let's keep it very simple, okay? I'll get to call a bear market, and at any point where you get to see Bitcoin lose the 20 simple moving average, which is sitting at 45,000 approximately, okay? There's no doubt that's bull market. That's where the bull market ends. Like not really where the bull market ends. That's where we validate a very long consolidation before the market heads strongly up, before it heads like really up, or before it will generally consolidate for a while. So until we get to see something like that, we kind of like generally healthy. So I'll show you instances where we retested. You can see that overall, like I think this is the biggest buy ever we've had in this market. Like this is kind of like it's obvious to see that this is the biggest buy, which we've kind of like missed because we are kind of like being attached to the noise in the market. We're kind of like being attached or we are kind of like panicking. All right, like this is obviously we obviously looking at this we've missed the biggest buy in the entire bull run. Like we've missed the entire buy because this is I'll have to go back to let's go back in time. Okay, good. Here is it. I have to show you something. How to show you something. Okay. Okay, I'll show you something. So okay, the CME chart is kind of like barely new. It's barely new. It's barely new actually. Barely new. So you can't actually get it, but I'll show you this. I have to switch this to let me show you something real quick. Good. Show you something really quick. I'll have to top. Good. Whenever we get to break this, like whenever we get to break, and close decisively. This long, that's when you start talking about a bear market or a very long consolidation, before any sort of a trend. We have to go in time, like we'll have to go back in time, really have to go back and see how this really works. Okay, you can see this is so this is on the weekly. I'm going to show you something on the weekly. So I have to show you something on the weekly. So coming down to this particular, let me just think okay, this is 20. So okay. I'll stop here for now. So you get to have the clearer picture of what I'm talking about. So here's it. Until you see that over time, we are in this bear market accumulation under this. This was 2015, right? We accumulated under this range, the 20 simple moving average at the bottom of the band. Okay, we accumulated for a very long period of time. But the moment you broke the middle Bollinger band on the weekly, we initiated that bull run. But then look at this crash here. Bitcoin crashed from $493. We crashed, and what supported us? We came close to the 20 simple moving average. But then what happened? It bounced us back. So normally when people get to like see this particular, like the crash from 60K is not something, it's healthy. That's what happens when you get to like overall, when you get to test resistance a couple of times and you don't get a breakthrough. That's what happens. You come down to tap liquidity. It doesn't go straight up. The market doesn't go straight up. So it doesn't go straight up. The market is kind of, it doesn't go straight up. It's coming down, it doesn't go straight up. Okay, so when we had that couple of times we've done this. Look at this crash. We crashed from approximately $500. We crashed to $200. And the following week, we had continuous crash. Like this is a 50%, over 50% drop in price. And what supported us? The 20 simple moving average on the weekly. All right, then we maintained it like until we now had the blow off top. Here. Like, okay, this wasn't the blow off top. Okay, now you see that we maintained it. Like first time, like you see how we retested it a couple of times, but we never broke it. Look at it here. It's always been a support of. I think the crash from 60K to 45K is only the first time. That's the first time we've ever since we started this bull run. That's the first time we tested the 27 moving average at the weekly, and it's totally healthy. Okay, so now you see, this is January 2016. This is a chart. I'm not manipulating it. It's not being manipulated. So we kind of like, okay, look at it here. We maintained it. We try higher, and when we don't get to breakthrough, we retest, we accumulate above it, and we head strongly up. Let me show you something, because you need to say this. Okay, now look at this. Like it's always been a point of contact. Like it's always been the point. Like it's always been the point of contact in an obvious bull market. Okay, so now you look at this. We also had similar thing January 2016. Okay, then we went. This is obviously bullish. This is obviously bearish engulfing candle. So now, when you see a market, that's why most times, I've already said that on the video I did on Bollinger Bands. Okay, whenever you see the Bollinger Bands squeeze, it tells you that there's a huge volatility coming in the market, and you don't seek engagement. Like you just wait for an obvious break. Okay, like you just wait for an obvious break. Now we came down here and we accumulated above this 20 simple moving average over time, but we never broke it. So technically we were heady until now. Until the point we broke above it. Now one thing here is that whenever we get to break above the top of the band, the top of the Bollinger band, it's normally starts as a support. It automatically starts serving as a support. Okay, then at the end of every week or at the end of any candle close, depending on the time frame you're using, it's always get to test that top of the band, then continues strongly up. So this is kind of like like keeping the analysis real simple without getting it complicated. Okay, using Bollinger Bands to analyze the chart. Okay, whenever you see the squeeze, it kind of like shows you that okay, there's a very huge volatility coming in the market. Okay, now we had this particular squeeze. We had this Bollinger squeeze. Now we broke off. Okay, with a very strong candle. We kept maintaining this until we had this bearish engulfing. Okay, now we had this, and of course you can actually, let me show you something. Maybe there's a way we can. This chart is still barely new, which is Coinbase, still barely new. Okay, I would have Okay, then let me show you some. Okay, I have to show you something. Okay, so now we like what I'm trying to say here in essence is that I don't want to go deeper into this. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that the middle of the band in the bull market is just a one line that supports the trend. That's whenever you see the market always testing a very huge weekly horizontal, a very huge resistance line, okay, on the weekly, on the macro view, and we don't get to break through. Always have this at the back of your mind: the 20 simple moving average, the mid Bollinger band on that particular time frame, on that weekly time frame, is going to be the next point of contact. All right, so that's it. You see a couple of times. This is still 2016. Wow, this is still 2016. We kept crashing over time. Like, look at this. We crashed. But normally people would have called this a blow off top. Like, people would have called this the end of the bull market. Like people would have called this the end of the. But now look at why. Like, let me tell you something. People normally, when we had this sell, this was a very crazy sell. But then people normally would have called this the end of the overall market. Like, people would have generally called that the end of the bull market 2016. But then what happened? We had this sell, okay, but then the sell weren't just look. Let me show you something. Look at the buy. Look at the sell. Look at the buy we used. Like, you look at the buy we started off the rally with. Are you seeing? Look at the buy. The first time we broke out of the bull. Let me show you something. Good. The first time we started the overall trend, this was the buy. This was the huge buy we broke out with. This kind of year, the buy, the volume that came in. Whenever the first time we initiated the bull run, but then we had the sell. The sell still weren't able to beat the previous buy. Okay. Now we now also had this second huge volume coming into the market. So normally when you get to see this one here, we had the sell. Still weren't able to go above this previous buy. It's still obviously like, now look at this. Now we still had another sell here. Still had normally technically still weren't above this. We still held it. Normally people would have called this the blow off top, like the end, the doom, the apocalypse. Like, we're going to the rabbit hole from here. So we never until like. So you're just gonna have to play around this. You're just gonna have to play around it. So that's literally like, okay, I'm kind of like shifting from what being okay, good. That's it for Bollinger bands. Okay, you see that at every point in the bull market, testing the mid Bollinger band on the weekly has always been the edge. Like, it's always the edge. Like, that's the biggest buy that you could ever think of whenever you see the market trending real high. Whenever you see the market on a very whenever you see this market moving, like whenever you get to see picture and overall bull market, the 20 always have this at the back of your mind. The 20 simple moving average on the weekly is going to be just put it as a reminder. Always notify me. You can set a reminder on your listing, on your trading view. It's recommended you have trading view mobile. It's recommended you have trading view set up on your system. Like, just create a trading view account and set up an alarm. Place your alarm on the middle Bollinger on the weekly in such a way that whenever the price gets to crash to that particular point, please notify me. Let me get into the market and fuck whatever people are talking about, fuck whatever the bears are talking about. Get me notified. Get me into that particular market whenever I see the 20 simple moving average on the weekly being retested. Notify my ass off and get me right into the market. Okay, whenever you see that particular point, get me notified. Get me whenever I'm sleeping, am I in my kitchen, am I betting, wherever I'm at, just get me notified and get me right back into the market. Okay, this is the point I've been waiting all my life. I don't need to miss it. Whenever, just get to set it on your account. Like, we're still barely in the new, like we still obviously are at the early stage in the bull market. So set this alarm, because a couple of times you're gonna still have to crash to this middle Bollinger band. So always set your alarm. Whenever prices come to this level, whenever Bitcoin gets to crash this level, regardless of the whole apocalypse or the rabbit hole or the shit hole we're going to, please get to notify me whenever you come to this level to buy the ass of Bitcoin, to buy the dip. Okay, and to literally, because there's it, whenever Bitcoin crashes to this level, normally it rules the market. Every other coin will get to like crash alongside it. So whenever this happens, please notify me to buy every asset. Notify me to buy Ethereum. Notify me to buy Litecoin. Notify me to buy Zcash, and literally every asset in the market. Notify me to buy whenever we have this crash, the 20 simple moving average on a weekly. Notify me to buy, because that's the biggest buy ever you have, like, overall in the entire bull market. But finally, Bitcoin has 60. Oh man, this feels so good, man. This feels so good. Recording this and seeing Bitcoin kind of like caressing, gently caressing the 57K level. Kind of like feels really good. 57K feels so fucking good. We kind of like testing 57K. Like, oh my god, it's really been hell. It's really been crazy over the past days. Seeing those kind of like we've not this feels so good. This man gonna go crazy. So saying this is kind of like still validates the point that I'm saying, that it is our support. Get me, like, say this right now. Just get to install TradingView on your mobile. Get to set it up on your desktop, wherever you're gonna set up TradingView, and put this alarm. Any day, please notify me. Please notify my ass off. Any day Bitcoin gets to crash to the 20 simple moving average on the weekly. Notify me. Let me buy. Let me sell my father's land. Okay. Let me sell my papa's land, because he literally won't be needing it. Okay. He literally won't be needing it. You can actually get to see your father's house and buy Bitcoin at this particular price. Whenever Bitcoin does 100 days, all right, you can buy back the house and give him back his 10% and tell him, okay, Papa, I did this with your money, and it's kind of like double. So I'm kind of like, let me move it to a new condo, okay? Let's move to a new condo, right? Because I've already did really good stuff with the money, okay? Then, so that's it for the Bollinger Bands. I'm using Bollinger Bands to guide your edge in the market, okay? So that's it for the Bollinger Bands. As you can see, a couple of times you crashed to it, but then, okay, now let me show you also one thing. I would have loved to use my RSI on this, but I've already talked to you. So on your free time, you get to put your RSI on this and come to this particular day, January 2017. Okay, that's not January, that's June 2019. So if you check on your RSI this particular day, you'll see that we kind of like had we kind of like had this hidden body here, obviously. What we are currently seeing now. I think I'll have to let me mark this date. Like, you gonna like, okay, I don't have a RSI. Yeah, so just on your free time, still put your RSI and come back to this particular day, June of okay, 12th of June 2017. Just come back and put your RSI. You're still gonna say the same thing I'm talking about. This obviously might be a hidden body from there. You might see your RSI still maintaining that particular. I think I'm gonna get to see what I'm talking about. I'm not just spewing shit here. So you just go say it. How to put my RSI, but then why is this institution in my internet is really unstable? So that's it for the this thing here. So normally we always get a crash here, the middle, but then you don't have to scare, so now you see this. Like, I think this is the first time we've ever had this crash, and literally everybody's panicking. The fuck you panicking? The panic. You think that this is gonna go straight up? Even when launching, even when like Tesla will go on launching stores, you see them retest, you see them crashing, you see stores when you see stores crashing the first time whenever they get launched, you see softwares get to crash on the first launch, you see stores get to crash on the first launch, even the torpedoes that are shot, they don't just go straight up. The torpedo, it stays going to the moon. What's happening? He thought, we're going to the moon, and suddenly we crash, coming down. No, that's not it. Okay, so we just at some point always get to test this middle of the band. Okay, then we generally good. This is the first time we're testing it, so don't expect a break. Come on, don't expect a break. So don't expect a break. You're never gonna see that. I think this is more likely going to be the last time you ever see Bitcoin this particular price. Quote me anywhere. So that's it. So it's always supporters. Okay, we good. Let's hope. So that's it. Until then, the doom, the Bitcoin apocalypse, when everybody, when literally all the boo la la las, they're sent to their nursing home. 2017 December, when you have an obvious blow top with a very nonsense sell volume that came in here. Like, look at these cells, man. Those are obvious, man. Those are like, look at this volume. Like, it's kind of like, look at, we rallied. This was it. Look at, let me show something. Look at, pay attention to certain stuff, because leave this noise in the cities right there on picture. So using the Mac, just come this couple of times and see what I'm talking about. You don't need to be scared, man. Don't be scared. So once we had this particular this blow up of 2017, of course. See, look at this volume. That was where the volume started fading. Actually, when we had this, okay, this was actually the cautionary area overall. So look at this. We had this. Okay, this was okay. Now, the volume here wasn't actually enough, and now you look at the sell here. It was bigger than this volume, man. Come on. The sell there was kind of like bigger than this volume. So what were you expecting? And then we had sales still coming in. Now, look at it. When we maintained this, but normally, let me tell you something. Okay, this was how the bull market ended 2017. Okay, we crashed. Of course, people. Of course, look at we still came to the 20 simple moving average on the weekly, but then we bounced back. We bounced back, but then the bounce. You won't the bounce. Okay, we bounced back. Of course, you would have traded this. You would have. I think, of course, I traded 2017. I've been here for a while. I've been here for a while. Of course, I traded this. Okay, but I think I still lost a couple of balls, but because I wasn't really this start of it, this and that time. So, well, then this was it actually. We bounced off. Normally, it's meant to be a support. We bounced off, but then the follow-up candle was still a mess, man. This is a shit. This still points to going to. Now look at. Let me tell you something. And anytime we come to the middle of the band on the boom market, look at this. Like I think I've showed you, we always have an engulfing. Like for you to really see the trend is kind of like the trend is healthy. We're gonna continue real high to the upside. We had this sell. Okay, we had this sell, but then it's enough to trigger the panic. Already look at these points. We had this sell. We engulfed it. We had this sell here. We tested it again, of course. The next week we kind of like range and we had engulfing. Okay, it wasn't panicking. So if you see go back in time, you're still gonna see what I'm talking about. Just go back on free time and play around it. It's really cool. It's free. Bollinger is free. Create your Ethereum account and put it there. That is it. So now you look at something here. We crashed here, but then we never had a follow through. So I'm gonna call this like this. This is a mess candle. This kind of no buy from. Even look at this band. This wasn't enough buy. Look at the sell. Look at the sell here, but look at the grain here. It wasn't enough. It didn't even go halfway like this the last sell. So now we had a follow through. Okay, we had a follow through. So then we had a follow through here, and you see we kept. Now that was when we officially lost the 27 moving average on the weekly. And then we lost it. Look at here. We tested it and we kept rejecting. Look at this particular point when we climbed above it, but then we climbed above it. Look at we climbed above it here, but it wasn't really strong. Now the climb here wasn't strong in the sense that we never dipped above this previous week. Okay, it's still and then we now look at it. We weren't still able to take about the previous week. Still kind of like shows us that well, at that particular point the market is still not really healthy. We're not really ready. And then we now had a follow through crash, and that was how the 2017 bear market started. That was how everybody lost their money, except the Gandhis, except the people that have been here for the past 100 years. It's not what I've been here for the past centuries. The oldish, okay. From now as that was it. And then I know normally here you say that we climbed it here, but then this candle we never had a follow through. We weren't able to tick above the previous week, so it was still a sell. This was obviously still an obvious sell until we finally capitulated here. So as you can see, until we finally capitulated and range, until we still climbed it, until you now finally climbed it. All right, boom. The mid-term bull market started. Now we lost it again here. Short-term bear market started. We accumulated under it over time. Boom, we climbed it here. Okay, we started another one. Now we had a sell here. We calculated Corona dump. Woo! I remember this was 2020 Corona dump. People call it that because they call it kind of some sort of a Corona dump. You know, had this sort of dump coming in. That was 2020, of course. And we had this follow-up. So this is kind of like analysis on the making use of the Bollinger to really analyze it. Of course, you can play around this on the 4 hour, on the 2 hour, on the daily, and all you've got. So, and you literally, will be fine trading with the Bollinger and combining your RSI. Of course, you have the stochastic, but I'm not going to go right into that. Okay, you are good with this trading with the Bollingers and the RSI. Of course, you have stocks, you have MACD, but then covering, I won't cover that. That was going to be a very long tutorial. I will just but then you just need to understand that go home with this, combining your RSI and Bollinger balancing it all day, set it as your line is very nice. They are nice to choose for to better your trading. Okay, so that's it for the Bollinger balance and the RSI. I'm not going to cover the stochastics. Of course, they are very nice too. They are still better of all these moving averages. And then we have the whatever. Okay, good. Okay. That's it. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. No, keep it simple. That's it for Bitcoin. So technically, we tested this. So our next target, we should be talking at it. We should be talking about the top of the band coming in at 69,000. So technically, we should say technically it's gonna be like Bitcoin is going to 69,000. We tested the middle of the band. Of course, this wasn't the perfect test, but then there's something that the Bollinger does on every week. They always get to adjust. I think about 105,000, about $1,500 every week. Okay, they get to always adjust. So on this, all this mark is at the end of this week. You see this band, this middle of the band, get to adjust to the price. Okay, so you get to adjust to something like this. It's gonna be like, okay, we kind of like tested it, but then we didn't test it, but it's gonna be like, okay, we tested it and we bounced off it. So that's gonna be how people's gonna see it. But then it's all cool. It's all good. So that's it for the middle of the band overall. Technically, your target should be top of the band. If you just want to play around on then your Bollinger band. So you want to play around the Bollinger band. So that's it for the Bollinger. Technically, we okay. I'll call this. Then don't want to do more of drawings. Then you look at these are. So literally anything that makes Bitcoin close above 57,500 this week, because that's our very next huge point of contact. Anything above 57,500 this week, man, we don't coming down. Next week we test 57,500 and head over to 69,000 new all-time high. The journey to new all-time high begins. I know you all been waiting for it over time. I know you all been waiting for it for how many years now? For decades, okay? So I know you all been waiting for it. So that's it for Bitcoin. Technically, we held it. There's nothing really bad here. We still going to the moon boys, you get ready. You go to the moon. Your moon boys, you get ready. We headed straight to the moon. The moon is kind of like real near. I think the moon is going to. It's kind of like real near. We actually need some more distant planetary body. We start talking about going to which other? We start talking about going to Saturn. Going to some sort of touring through the stars. You know what I'm saying? Stars, and I'm going to launch our torpedo. Our torpedo getting started. We're just gonna launch our torpedo really good, and we're just gonna be very, very, very good at launching our torpedo. Right? We're generally good. We're going to the moon. All right. So get your seatbelts on. Get ready. We're going to the moon. We're launching the torpedo. That's it generally for Bitcoin. The Bitcoin market overall. We held it. There's nothing bad. We're going to the moon. Moon boys, get ready. Beer is about to be red, really hard, rock to zeros. We're gonna send them back to their nursing home. Let them just go get some treatment. All right. We're sending them, we're breaking back their hearts, breaking their bones, and breaking everything and leaving them with nothing. Okay, that's literally gonna be it for the bears. Okay, so you get ready to spend more time on your sick bed. So that's it for the Bitcoin, for the macro view, Bitcoin. So I actually had intentions of covering some stores, but I think I've already spent more time discussing just technicals. But then, of course, this actually we'll be doing this on a daily, once I get to see lots of feedback supporting this on a daily or supporting it every week, we're just gonna have to start doing it. But then I actually want to show you a lot of stores, the market cap, how bullish the market cap is, the total market cap, and how bullish the Bitcoin market cap is overall, and how bullish everything literally is the Bitcoin dominance. We didn't really talk about that today. We're gonna talk about that soon now or later. We're gonna talk about it on our next video. So you always make sure that before you leave this channel today, get to share it to your friends, hit the like button, hit the bell icon so you always get notified so you don't miss a bit. All right, so you don't miss a bit. You always get notified whenever we do something like this. So that's it for the Bitcoin overall macro trend. Anything above 57,500, you just go home with. Anything above 57,500, this we can close. We retest 57,500, and we head strongly up to our new all-time high. Technically, facing the middle of the band of the weekly. Our next target technically should be the top of the band. And on the monthly, let me just do something real quick on the monthly. Now we have the monthly also. So technically, okay, this is the Bitcoin monthly chart. So this is what we should be doing like every month. Like at the close of every month, we are technically meant to retest the top of the band before heading strongly up. So the monthly is kind of like closing still tonight, and we are still closing at the top of the band. Okay, we're still closing at the top of the band. So of course, we're kind of like still heading on the monthly until the monthly gets like think below the previous monthly high, which of course I know, which of course is kind of like our chances of doing that is kind of like less. It's kind of like, so technically the monthly is still healthy. It's still very healthy. There's nothing to worry about, and there's not much on the weekly. All these are buys, fucking buys. So that's it for the monthly. I do something else. I think we literally go with this. We literally go with this. We literally go with this. Do I need to Mr. Ethereum? Mr. Ethereum is let me just look at Mr. Ethereum briefly. I'm gonna make use of Mr. Ethereum Coinbase. Mr. Ethereum, Mr. Ethereum, Mr. Ethereum, Mr. Ethereum is slow over time. What's going on, Mr. Ethereum? You've not really pulled up. You've not really pulled up a very nice move. I'm gonna have to make use of I'm gonna make use of Coinbase. Wow, Ethereum is really looking awesome. This is awesome. Yeah, this is really some really nice charts here. We're looking on Ethereum. Wow, this is a very nice trade. So here is it also on Ethereum. We literally held the nothing to worry about on Ethereum. Ethereum is going to a new all-time high, blah blah blah, boo boo boo, blah blah blah. So we're really going to a new all-time high on Ethereum. There's nothing really to worry about. So fuck out the so we're really going to new all-time high on Ethereum. So I don't know what you're talking about. So this is a very healthy chart. There's nothing to worry about. Come on, my people. Come on, this. Oh, look, there's no better chart. There's no better chart than this. There's still really no better chart than this. We're still literally healthy on Ethereum. I just don't want to spend more time here. I think my time is kind of like running up. I think I've covered literally what I need to cover today. Until next time we start talking about looking deep down into analyzing the coin, using the coin market cap or analyzing over. And actually nothing because right now, the dollar is kind of like gaining strength over it. There's going to be a point in this market where you see SATs gaining strength over the dollars. That's when you start talking about us trading the BTC slash the alt slash BTC markets. We've not yet gotten to that point yet. And that market is about to see another capitulation going to zero. About that, you understand what I mean. Next time we're going to host something like this, I'll explain that briefly. But the BTC page, I think they're about to go back to zero. But then we're really going to discuss that on this live stream. So you make sure you hit that bell icon before you leave, and tick that notification button so you always get a notify you so you don't get a message. So that's it for Ethereum. I really don't want to play around Ethereum, but we generally heard it. So Bitcoin is healthy, Ethereum literally is going to be healthy, Litecoin is going to be healthy, ZEC is going to be healthy, Bitcoin Cash and the overall Roger Victory still is going to be healthy. And then every other market is literally gonna be held. So you don't need to worry about us. Come on, we go to the moon. Torpedo all day, torpedo all day. Torpedo, we still don't you the torpedo all day. There's nothing to be scared of. So we generally go the Trump still going to new all-time high, Litecoin still going to new all-time high, everything literally going to new all-time high, Bitcoin going to new all-time high. There's nothing really to be scared of until we get to invalidate the trend. And also get to remember this: the trend is your friend until the end of the trend. You always get to remember this. Pin it to your head right now that the trend is your friend until the end of the trend. Now, what's going on Ethereum? I'm kind of like being tempted to do this thing, but I'm gonna have to cut. I think I'll spend a lot of time here, but Ethereum is still healthy. There's really nothing to worry about. Ethereum weekly. Let me see something. Just a little bit. Okay. Wow. This is still healthy. I just don't want to like get it overstretched. Beautiful. So we literally healthy. So it's like the next point of contact. Okay, Ethereum. Well, I know at some point that's when Bitcoin is about to crash or another crash. Ethereum will at some point also get to test this. Okay, which of course is not yet. That's not yet now. That's still that will be sometime in the future whenever Bitcoin is about to still do some dating moves. So that's it literally for Ethereum. You heard it. On the next video we're gonna talk about some other coins and we get to look about the general. I think we've covered. For now, we're done. So for you to always, and Ethereum is actually kind of like validated a very nice move here. We've ticked above the last weekly high. So normally we should see some very nice green candles, very nice green candlesticks. You should see some very nice green candlesticks, and then we have USDT here. Litecoin, Mr. Litecoin. I don't know what Charlie Lee's been doing, but then, oh my God, fucking Jesus Christ, man. This kind of like looks cool, but then we generally feel Litecoin. Jesus. Wow. But then, this really looks crazy, but then Litecoin. Yeah, generally heard it. So that's it overall for. I think we still held it. That's it overall for the entire market. Next time I come, we're gonna really look. I'm gonna get to talk more about everything you need to know about the market. But right now, just have it back in your mind that until the trends end, like the trend is your friend until the end of the trend. And right now, the trend is not yet kind of like signaling dead. debt, just like the whole news and boom, 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 they're all talking about it. So get them off your head and follow what you're saying. Tread what you see. I want you to go home with that. Tread what you see and not what you think would happen. Okay, what you think would happen might end up being some sort of delusions. Okay, they may just end up going like being some sort of crabs. Tread what you see. Tread what you see in the candles and don't tread what you think would happen. Treading what you think would happen will put you on the verge of losing. You're just gonna be like, I think this will happen, but then it never happened, and then I lost, and you lost, and everybody around you lost. Okay, so tread what you see, what you see, and not what you think will happen. Okay, that overall is gonna give you a better edge to doing literally being really good in the market, and we you're literally gonna be good. So this is it for okay. I think this was a really quick one, a real quick one. So this was actually the chart this was actually the part that I was expecting Bitcoin follow. As per my last analysis on the market, this was actually the part that I expected this, and that was so we at some point, but then as you can see, I so this was actually the part that I expected it full, but then always trade what you see. So we actually kind of like getting to invalidate coming down to this particular green boss territory. Okay, kind of like getting invalidated right now, coming down to the green boss territory, considering the heads and shoulders pattern we've already broken the upside, considering the whole CMEs and the whole lot of stocks volume coming in and people getting interested more in the shit coins. I'm sorry, not a shit coin really. It's a true coin. Other coins can go and claim them a shit coin. So overall, we're still healthy, and this is still another roadmap you should keep. You should also get a pin in your head. So literally, generally, we're still healthy, and until the trend ends, is always your friend until the end of the trend. Okay. So thanks for coming around. Thanks for always being with us, and then we're gonna see next time. So before you leave, make sure you subscribe, share to your friends, subscribe to this channel, and make sure you hit the bell icon and just share this and shout it to everybody literally behind you. So they don't always get to miss a bit. All right. So generally, this is gonna be it for now. So thanks for coming around, thanks for streaming with us, and see you next time. Okay.